Hey guys, what's up? Welcome on my channel. My name is Larissa and in today's video we're gonna be talking about Bordeaux. So I'm gonna give you basically a full touristy guide about this city, so you're gonna be able to have all the information you need before booking your trip there. Starting from touristic landmarks to accommodation, restaurants and public transportation, you're just gonna find all the information you need in this video. Just a heads up, this is not about Bordeaux, the wine regions. This is only about the city of Bordeaux, but afterwards I'm gonna make a video about the wine regions, so make sure you subscribe to my channel to be the first one to know. And also something else I wanted to mention, on the screen you can now see all the times when I'm talking about different aspects. So in case you're only interested in some parts, you can skip directly to them. But if I were you, I would just watch everything. Alright, so thank you guys for being here and let's just jump right into it. Some general information about Bordeaux. It is a port city situated on the southwestern part of France, on the river Garonne. And other than wines, it is also well known for its amazing Gothic architecture that can be spotted everywhere in the city. Bordeaux is listed as the world's largest heritage site, and to be honest, that shouldn't surprise anyone because walking through this city is just like walking through an enormous Asian museum. So if you're looking for a city break filled with amazing culture and history, great architecture, fine wine and dine, I wouldn't hesitate and I would just book the tickets right now. Enough with the chit-chat, let's just start with the most important part in my opinion, what to see in Bordeaux. First landmark on the list is Cathedral Saint-André de Bordeaux. This is the most famous cathedral in the city and let me tell you that it is absolutely breathtaking. It is a Gothic cathedral, of course, and most of the construction is from the 14th-15th century. You can already spot the typical Gothic features, the rose window at the entrance and the pointed arches, and I just need to point out that this cathedral is enormous and so impressive. There is no entrance fee, so definitely add it to your list. Next is Basilique Saint-Michel. Going on with the churches, this is another gorgeous building. You can definitely see the similarities between these two cathedrals, both Gothic in style and trace back to around the 14th century. So I could continue with cathedrals. There are two more that I have visited, but since they are very similar in style, I don't want to bore you. However, you'll find their names in the description box in case you're curious to see more. However, I'll continue with Grosse Cloche, which is translated to Big Bell. You can probably understand why. This monument was built somewhere in the 15th century and still represents a symbol of the city. It's so weird because I was just walking down the street, turning my head to the left and seeing this old looking tower that in my opinion just did not fit in between these buildings. However, so spectacular. If you want to visit it on the inside, it is also possible. However, the guided tour is only available in French. Next up is Port Cailhau. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but probably not. This gorgeous monument was built in 1494 to commemorate the victory of Charles VIII at Fornovo in Italy. I would highly recommend you to visit this building on the inside as well, because you will be presented with the entire history of the monument while getting an understanding into the history of the city as well. Plus, this is the view that you get from the top over the Garonne River. And last on the list is Place de la Bourse. It is probably the most recognizable landmark in Bordeaux. However, as you can see, when I was there, they were undergoing renovation. So I didn't get to see its entire beauty. However, definitely worth a visit as the architecture is stunning. Alright, so done with the historic landmarks, I'm gonna be talking about two museums that I've seen. The first one is called Musée d'Aquitaine. I'm positive I'm not pronouncing this right, but please correct me in the comments if that's the case. This is a history museum. Basically, it presents the history of Bordeaux from the ancient times, going through the Roman times, Middle Ages, up to the more modern era. It is a complex museum and you'll get to learn everything there is to know about the city. Some information about it, however, the museum is located in the city center. You can reach it by tram. There is a stop just in front of it, but also you can just walk from other landmarks because most of them are located in the city center. The price is €5 for adults, €3 if you are a student, and if you're under 18 you can go in for free, which is great. One downside though, there are many exhibitions where the text beneath the explanation is only available in French. I found that to be a bit weird, but if you get the audio guide tour, then everything is also in English, so it's your choice. Alright, the other museum I visited is called La Cité du Vin, and this is basically a wine museum. From the moment I saw the building, I was completely blown away by how different it is in style than everything else in the city. It's just like this modern huge building next to a Gothic style city center. Just so you understand, this would be a paradise for wine lovers, but not necessarily for those who just love drinking wine, but for those who also want to find out information about wine. Basically, you'll be able to understand how wine is made, how different in styles wine is, considering the country of origin, the history of wine, how did we end up drinking wine, who came up with this amazing idea. And the best thing is, you will learn all of these aspects in such an interactive and modern way. There are so many displays with explanations, digital stuff, olfactive experiences, touch screen. I can't even find my words to describe how incredible this place was. You can see here tiny parts of some of the displays that I managed to film during my visit. The price is approximately €20, so a bit on the more expensive side when you think of museum entry tickets. However, you do get a glass of wine that you can enjoy on their top floor at the end. And if you're lucky enough to find a sunny day, I bet the view from the top is absolutely amazing. However, something that you need to know is that you can easily spend at least 3 hours in this place, but you can spend even like a full day or more than that. There are just so many exhibitions. It honestly depends on how interested you are in this topic and how much time you are willing to spend in this place. So plan this in advance when you think about how you're gonna be spending your day in Bordeaux. Alright, so next on the list is accommodation. What I want to first mention is that when I was there, it was during the month of November. So, of course, it's not peak season. The prices were lower than they normally are if you're thinking about going in spring or summer. However, they were still, in my opinion, quite expensive. Looking for hostels and like 2-3-star hotels, they were prices like 200 for 3 nights and not close to the city center. So I chose to go for an Airbnb. You know how there are cities that some of them have better prices in hotels, but some of them just have better prices in Airbnbs? Well, in my opinion, this one just has cheaper prices for Airbnbs. I spent 150 for 3 nights and I was like 4 bus stops away from the city center. And with breakfast included. I'm not saying that my experience is 100% relevant to how the situation actually is in accommodation. I'm just advising you to check Airbnb as well when you're planning your trip there. Next Next up on the list is how can we reach this place. Bordeaux has an airport which is outside the city. To be honest, it is quite in a poor shape. When I was there, it was under construction for a good reason, but what I found to be really weird was that at 8 p.m. when I landed, the bathrooms were closed. Like, what the So that was quite strange. I've never seen that before in an airport. However, the good part is that there is a bus that can take you from the airport to the city center in approximately 25-30 minutes, and the price is 3.5 euros. I never take taxis from airports because they are extremely overpriced, so I always try to use public transportation, and in Bordeaux I found this to be super convenient. The bus is literally in front of the airport and it takes you all the way to the city center of Bordeaux, and it has many stops on the way in case you want to reach different areas of the city, not necessarily the center. So I would definitely recommend that. Right, next up, public transportation. This part is really convenient. There are buses and trams. Most of the times buses connect you from the margins of the city to the city center, and trams you can take within the city center to reach different landmarks or different areas. Everything is super convenient, and the prices are also cheap. I think it's like 3 euros for 2 rides within the city center, so within the area with all the touristic landmarks. I preferred walking from one to another. The distances are not big, you can definitely do that, but if you're not a walker, as I said, you can also take the trams. Alright, so the last topic, restaurants and what to eat. Surprisingly, I have mixed feelings about this, and I'm saying surprisingly because it's France, so the food should be great, right? And that's true, that's the case, the food is great. The problem that I had was not with how the food tasted, but how restaurants were organized. Well, actually, let me start with one recommendation. It's this restaurant. I had an amazing experience in this place. A wine sommelier I met there recommended me to go to this restaurant, and I couldn't thank her enough because the food was amazing, the staff was friendly and speaking English. You didn't have to book a table. It was a massive restaurant, so you could just walk in there and have a great meal. And one great thing, it's not that pricey. So for this plate that I had, it was beef and a glass of red wine. The price was approximately 20 euros. You might think that's a lot, but trust me, compared to other prices in Bordeaux and other restaurants I've been to, for the quality you get, it's not that much. So definitely put this on your list. Okay, so going to the bad side now, I had 2 experiences not so pleasant, but I want to mention one of them because this is kind of like a general rule that you need to know when you're visiting touristic places in Europe. Never, but I mean never, go and eat or drink in the main square of a city. For obvious reasons. They are overpriced, and most of the times the staff is quite rude. Because you know why? What they want to do is serve you fast and get you out of the restaurant fast. Because in the main square, ironic enough, there are people lining up to get into these places. But if you would go just 2 or 3 streets to the left or right, you'd find other restaurants, maybe even a better quality and definitely cheaper. So what I did during this trip, there was a cafe which was right in the main square. It was next to the Intercontinental Hotel, so that's a red flag right there. I knew it, but it was raining, it was early morning, I just wanted to have a coffee, and to be honest, the cafe looked so pretty. It was like this fancy, elegant, old looking, like vintage cafe, and I just wanted to take a picture in there, crazy enough. So what happened is that I spent 6.20 euros for one cappuccino. I know, it was probably the most expensive coffee I've ever had in my life, and on top of that, it was really bad. I had to ask the waitress, who did not speak any English, to get me some extra milk because it was just not drinkable. And guess what? At the end, I had the extra milk on the bill, 50 cents extra. So I ended up paying almost 7 euros for a coffee that I just did not enjoy at all. And also the staff was quite rude, so I will definitely skip this place if I were you. Maybe take a picture in front of it, but it's not worth it. Anyways, another important information about restaurants in Bordeaux, what I found to be really weird again, is that they close during between lunch and dinner. They don't serve food, and I get that if you would be living in a city that doesn't have any tourists, but considering that, or let's put it this way, when I'm visiting a city, I don't plan my day according to restaurant schedules. I don't even take that into consideration. I plan my day according to what I want to see and their schedules. So basically I eat whenever I feel like I'm hungry and I'm like, okay, let's stop with the cathedrals and go eat something. But surprisingly, it was probably a late lunchtime, so like 3 or 4 o'clock. I couldn't find anything open. I actually ended up eating at KFC, which is something that it's probably one of the things I hate the most when it comes to tourists. I just don't understand why, when you're in Europe, which is known for an amazing food culture, you go and eat at McDonald's or at the fast food. Like, you can find cheap food takeaway from just different, like, I don't know, small brasseries or something like that. And in Europe, actually, fast food is not that cheap. So I don't get it. I will never understand that. Don't even bother explaining it to me. But can you imagine what in a desperate situation I was, that I actually ended up eating at the place I had hated the most to eat at during my travels. Anyways, to conclude this part, I just want you to keep in mind that restaurant hours, really weird. Take that into consideration. City center cafes and restaurants, skip them. Go 2 blocks away. And definitely, at least one of your meals, spend a bit more on the food. Have a great dinner with an amazing ambience, good food, good wine, just enjoy yourself. This is one of the best ways to get to know a place through its food. So just go to a nice restaurant and order the most traditional thing they have. It's that easy. You don't even have to make a decision. Let them make it for you. Alright guys, thank you so much for being here with me till the end. I know it's been a long video. I hope you found the information useful, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel. It would help me so much, considering that I'm at the beginning of this journey and I want to be able to grow on this platform and to share my experiences in different parts of Europe with you. So before you book your trip, you know what to expect. Alright, so this is it. I'm not gonna add anything else now. Thank you again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!